Lexus, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, heck, even Lincoln offer hybrid cars these days. So Acura, a brand that hopes to compete with all of them, well, shouldn't they be offering a hybrid too? Meet the ILX Hybrid. All right, now before we get too deep into what makes this car unique, let's have a look at some of the key specs. Honda uses a 1.5-liter four-cylinder engine and its integrated motor assist hybrid system to make 111 horsepower and 127 foot-pounds of torque. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, and it really isn't, but this car isn't about performance, it's about mileage. And Acura says that it should be good for 39 mpgs on the highway or 38 in the city. A perpetually boring CVT is supposed to help get it there, and we might be able to get past some of the car's weaknesses if it does. Speaking of weaknesses, the car costs just over $35,000 when equipped with the tech package. Yikes. You might already know this, but the ILX is actually built in the same plant as the Honda Civic. Acura has gone through a lot of criticism in the past for selling warmed-over Honda products, and the company's gone to great lengths to disguise the fact that, shh, that's a Civic. And it works. The typical Acura nose is present, as are the sculpted sheet metal lines and pointy-looking taillights typical to the brand's current products. Then again, the style is proven to be polarizing, and if you're like me, you'll find the 16-inch alloy wheels on the hybrid and its high-profile tires a little dorky and outdated looking. Still, the yays outweigh the nays in style, and if you need any proof, you need look no further than the interior. Acura is no newbie at building user-friendly interiors, and this is no exception. You get two ergonomically placed cup holders that will accommodate even the most Texas-sized drinks. You also have a hideaway cubby with plenty of space for a wallet and loads of soft-touch materials on the dash that entry-level luxury buyers all seem to crave. Our car is equipped with the tech package, and that's an option box you're going to want to check because it gives you things like an improved stereo and a navigation system with traffic and weather updates. Now, if you choose that option, you'll also notice that Acura has cleverly buried the screen well into that soft touch material that I mentioned before. Conveniently, that means that you're going to be able to see it in almost any light condition. If I have to level one complaint of this car, it comes down to the seats. Keeping its roots in mind, you can't expect much for space in the rear, but the front buckets aren't that great either. They're not particularly well bolstered, and the leather feels a little bit cheap for a car that costs $35,000. So what does it feel like to drive the ILX Hybrid? That feels pretty much like any other hybrid. It's about as exciting as watching water boil. On the left-hand side, you've got a pedal attached to regenerative brakes, and on the right-hand side, you've got a pedal attached to a CVT. And if you want to know what that feels like, picture stretching out some of those industrial-strength rubber bands that you get around your broccoli and lobsters from the grocery store and then stepping on them. It feels spongy, rubbery, and it's just not particularly satisfying. Then again, with only 111 horsepower and Honda's hybrid system, it really isn't supposed to be a fun car to drive. It's supposed to be a fuel-efficient car to drive. And you know, it's worth pointing out that Honda's hybrid system just isn't anywhere near as advanced as the system you find in the Lexus CT200H or any of the Toyota products for that matter. You can't go without using the gas engine for propulsion. The hybrid system in this car will help you move, but you can't cruise without burning gas, and that sort of serves to spend a lot more than you would in some of the competition. One of the things you'll find is that you probably won't end up living up quite to the EPA numbers. I said earlier that the car is supposed to get 38 miles per gallon in the city, and in reality, with a light foot, I'm finding that it gets between 33 and 34. It's also worth noting that that mileage is only happening with very conservative driving. If I keep up with cars and don't hold traffic up behind me, I find that actually the mileage comes a little bit closer to 24 miles per gallon. Now, those fuel numbers are for city driving, and it's worth noting that on the highway, you're actually probably going to be able to live up to the EPA numbers, so you can expect to get somewhere around 39 miles per gallon, although with stop-and-go traffic, it's going to sink below, and your average number probably won't be that good. Now, like I said before, the acceleration for this car really isn't all that thrilling, but if you check sports car expectations at the door, you might actually be impressed with how the ILX Hybrid handles. Believe it or not, it's actually got a little bit more of an even weight distribution than the other ILX, and it handles surprisingly well in the corners. There are two ways to think about the ILX Hybrid. On the one hand, you're buying a more fuel-efficient version of Acura's newest and entry-level luxury sedan. On the other hand, you're buying a Honda Civic Hybrid, wearing a fancier suit and with a lot more tech. Unfortunately, the formal wear tacks on about $10,000. In either case, the price is a serious knock against the car. City dwellers that don't have the luxury of driving at a senior citizen's pace are going to miss out on the key benefit for this car, that of course being the mileage. So for that reason, they should skip it entirely. However, if your commute is mostly highway miles, then the ILX Hybrid starts to make a lot more sense. After all, it's priced very closely to the Lexus CT200H. Not only that, but it's not a hatchback, it's a sedan, which luxury buyers are sure to appreciate.